Hi guys, probably the biggest impact of Brexit is when Britain exited itself from the single market. But leaving the EU has also meant that the UK, when it came to dealing with the fallout of the war in Ukraine, which saw energy prices jump, put the country in a more difficult position to weather the storm. The European Union last year pumped billions of euros into national economies to help consumers and businesses deal with high energy costs. The idea that businesses would go under due to electricity bills is pretty unheard of in the EU. Which brings us to this interview Andrew Marr of LBC had with James Bailey from the supermarket chain Waitrose. Britain is seeing empty shelves in stores when it comes to certain fruit and vegetables. Andrew is adamant it has nothing to do with Brexit. But is he right?
You may have noticed empty shelves, particularly where you'd expect properly fresh fruit and vegetables. So what's happening? It's the lack of fresh produce around at the moment, because everyone one talks to finds this. You go in and it's not just your stores, it's many other stores as well, where you see a bit of cardboard in a plastic box where you might have expected mushrooms or tomatoes or something else. Yep. So in short, James, what is going on?
What's going on? Yes, well, we're experiencing what you'd call an extraordinary weather event, unfortunately, and it's happening in Spain and in northern Africa, where a lot of soft fruits and salads come from. There is one other sort of contributing factor, which is a lot of the growing would have been done under glass in the UK and Holland previously. A lot of those providers this season have either chosen not to turn those glass houses on or are being much more careful about how much they plant, just because the energy costs are so much higher.
Of energy costs. So all those people who say, are across the breakfast table, it's all Brexit, are wrong on this occasion. This is not Brexit, nothing to do with Brexit. It's about weather and it's about the cost of electricity.
It's just a good old-fashioned bad weather event in Spain and North Africa, yes.
You may have...
Okay, so there you have it. Nothing to do with Brexit. I'm sorry, Andrew, it has something to do with Brexit. Now, not directly related to Brexit, of course, but as I pointed out at the beginning of the video, Britain is not supporting companies when it comes to high energy prices. So, as we've seen here, growers in Britain, when it comes to high energy prices, are deciding to shut down operations. So, if you shut down operations in Britain, supermarkets have to bring goods in from abroad, in from the EU. And we've seen already the problems with supply chain issues. So if you're reliant more on EU producers and you're having supply chain issues, and then you have a weather event, then you're going to see empty supermarket shelves. So it's both energy prices and supply chain issues. Now, they said a weather event. Yes, this is causing problems. But if you're in the European Union, you can change supplier much easier. In the UK, you can't. Because if you're not producing it in Britain, you have to bring it in from abroad. And then we have the issues of Brexit. The UK deciding to leave the single market. Now, the UK is not carrying out checks. It doesn't seem to be carrying out checks on goods coming in from the EU. But then all the issues related to cabotage, they're related to paperwork. There are still documents to be filled out on the European side if you want to sell goods to Britain. It's not just about checks at the border. There are pretty much no checking going on at the border, but the paperwork still has to be filled out, and that takes time and effort. And many suppliers maybe in Europe are deciding, well, look, it's not really worth it sending it to Britain. If there's a shortage, it's easier for European supermarkets to get access to those goods. And Britain is suffering because of that. Now, if Britain had remained a member of the European Union, it would have had access to that cash to help bring down energy prices, and British producers wouldn't have to cut off their production. So, Andrew, it is related to Brexit, not directly, but indirectly, like many problems. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.